are GAYish, and this is our story.
Hi, my name is Abby. I'm 24 years old. I'm from Virginia Beach. My story starts when I was 6 years old. I had a huge crush on this girl. I'm not going to name names, but we went to kindergarten together. We ended up actually, I guess you want to call it dating, until we were in about 6th grade. I ended up moving away shortly after that, so that was my first, I guess, dose of heartbreak. Shortly after that, I got into, I guess, what you would consider my first legitimate relationship. I was probably middle school, I would say, maybe about 7th or 8th grade. I started dating a girl that got me into a lot of not okay things. I struggled with drug and alcohol abuse for a very, very long time. Obviously, me being the person I am and having to hide it, it did not help my depression, it did not help my anxiety, which of course just made the party lifestyle seem just that more appetizing to me. I've been dealing with dysphoria that I haven't been able to figure out for a very long time because I am non-binary and I have not decided if I want to transition or not. I don't know if I want to stay in this body for the rest of my life. My parents have always made very homophobic comments, just even if it was as jokes, you know, to somebody that's in the closet. It's not jokes, it hurts, and you can't say anything about it because then they'll know. So my father, I tried coming out to him actually when I was about 12, and I asked him, you know, what would you do if one of your kids was gay? And pretty much he told me that he would put a bullet in his brain. He told me that that's not a life that he wants for his children, that it wasn't even an issue, I think, of struggling, just more or less that he didn't want to admit that to the world, that he had a gay child. When I was 18, I decided to actually come out of the closet. I had already messed up a whole lot at that point in time. I was homeless, I was horribly addicted to drugs, just living on the streets, doing what I could every single day to get by, and I actually texted my parents to tell them, hey, I just want you to know I'm alive, and also I'm gay because I can't continue living this life. I want to be able to come home and live normally. And the response I got was my phone being shut off, and I did not hear back from my dad after that for a very, very long time. I ended up getting clean, and I moved in with the girl that I was actually dating at the time when I had come out of the closet, and my father just decided to drop by, and he made an attempt to try and understand, and he came to me and he was like, I want to be there for you, but I know it was more or less my stepmother forcing him to love me for who I am. I guess speed it up a little bit, I have tattooed on my rib cage pride. My father came up to me after I got that done and asked me what I would do with myself when I was no longer gay, because in his mind it is a choice. And I told him, Dad, that's not how it works. It's because it's not. And he got very, very angry with me and told me that it was probably the stupidest decision that I could have possibly made, was getting something as ridiculous as the pride that I do carry for myself and who I am and for who my family and my friends are, you know, on my skin. I carry that as my own burden, and I'm carrying that burden for everybody else every single day, so that everybody knows I'm constantly fighting. The fight is going to be bared on my flesh for the rest of my life. I have recently come out as non-binary, and nobody in my family has said a single word about it. There has been no discussions, no thoughts, no, I'm proud of you for embracing it, not even, you know, get out of my face, block my number, I'm just gonna ignore you, which in total honesty, ignorance and ignorance is the two things that hurt most. I would rather have an excuse to cut people out of my life if they can't accept me than, you know, for who I am, rather than being ignored by my own flesh and blood. But I guess now, sitting here as the 24-year-old that I am proud of who I am, I'm proud of who I have become, and I will not let a single one of them stand in my way. And that is my story.
Hi, my name's Aaron. I'm 25 years old, and I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia. And this is my story. My entire life, I knew I wasn't the normal kid. I hid it from everyone. I was petrified to come out. It started off in elementary, middle school. You see the kids who are being picked on. I didn't want to be, you know, singled out, so I kind of hid it from everyone. And then I turned 18 years old, and I still hid it. I hid it because I was scared of not discrimination, but being treated differently in my career path. Treated differently by my family, by my friends. I had, you know, people who I didn't want to tell. You know, I was engaged, wonderful girl, financial life was perfect, everything was perfect, but I wasn't happy. I started drinking very heavily to the point that it was not even possible for most humans to wake up in the morning, and yet I did. You know, came out to the girl I was engaged to, and we broke up for a lot of reasons, but I told my parents, I started telling my family and friends I was scared to, but I said, you know, I have to, I can't lie to myself, I can't lie to them anymore. And I went through a lot of stuff, but you know, I had a group of friends who helped me through a lot of stuff, and when I told my parents, I mean, my family was there for me, which I honestly did not know if that was going to be a thing, but my parents embraced me for who I was. My sister and I are very close, but you know, she helped me through a lot of stuff. One of my favorite recent memories is we had a family barbecue for my sister's birthday, and it was the same day as Pride over in Norfolk, and I had stickers and floral stuff, and I was just like, you know, had rainbow stuff everywhere, and I started taking it off. My dad's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't want to go in front of our family and, you know, make anybody uncomfortable. And he's like, embrace who you are, because you're happy and that's all that matters to us. You know, I had a group of friends who, you know, helped me get from the bottom up. I think out of everything that I've went through, everything I experienced, everything I continue to experience, if I could impart one piece of knowledge or advice to anybody, it'd be like, you know, just come out to everyone who you matter, and the ones that truly love you will be there for you. And if they're not, there's always a group of friends, there's always someone you'll meet that will embrace you and love you for who you are. And that's my story.
Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm 25 years old. I live here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. My story starts, honestly, as far back as I can remember. I have always known that I was gay. Growing up, the biggest issue that I had was talking to my parents about it. My mom has always been extremely accepting of me and who I am, and my dad was military, so through a lot of my childhood, he was off on cruises. He was gone for 9, 10, 12 months at a time. I can remember the day that it wasn't even coming out, I was busted. My dad had logged into my MySpace that I didn't know he had. He saw that I called somebody my hubby. I was called downstairs, and he looked at me and said, Andrew, do you like men? And I said, in fear, yes, I am bi, because I wanted him to have that thought that maybe I could still be, you know, the son he wanted me to be. He looked me in the eyes, said, I think I'm going to be sick, and he walked out of the house. About a week later, my mom couldn't really take that, and we ended up leaving. My parents did separate after that. It took probably about 3 years after that to really talk to my dad again. I spent some time living in Morgantown, West Virginia, where I did a lot of discovering of myself and who I am. I lived there with my boyfriend at the time. Fortunately, you know, when you're dealing with those kinds of anxieties and the struggle of not being able to speak to your own father and your own parents, I found myself down a really drug addicted and very alcoholic lifestyle. It took a very long time for me out of that. I was finally able to pull myself out of Morgantown, and I did come back to Virginia Beach. When I finally did reach out to my dad again, he funny enough was dating this new girl, and she loved me. We got along very, very well. And she made it a point to start pushing him towards, you know, wanting to accept me and wanting to talk to me. This past year actually was the first time my dad has ever met somebody that I was dating and approved and enjoyed, and actually, you know, spent time with them and got to know them. And it's really exciting to see, you know, him taking a step towards wanting to get to know me. The biggest struggle I ever faced was honestly through middle school. Of course, not knowing, you know, of course, you're super young, you don't know who you are, you don't know what you're doing, you're still trying to figure yourself out. A lot of other people have figured out who they were a lot earlier than I did. Through middle school, I was bullied, I was beaten up, I was sent to about 3 different schools because I couldn't handle the stress of being called faggot, being called that homo, the one gay kid. And it wasn't until I reached high school and met the beginning of my current friend group that I started feeling accepted, and I started having friends that I can call my own and that I can call the family that I've chosen. Now, you know, today, me and my parents have a very outstanding relationship. It's taken a long time, and both of them have made excellent strides in getting to know me and getting to understand me and my community. They're both very active with me. They're both very active with my sister as well, and they're always there for us. And lucky for me, I have found this incredible group of friends that I can honestly call my family as well. I have my blood and then the family that I've chosen. And if it was not for them, I truly don't know where I would be today. So I thank them for honestly everything, and that's my story.
Hi, my name's Dalton. I'm 25. I live in Virginia Beach, and I'm transgender. I've been on testosterone for 1.5 years, and it's been quite a process so far. I want to say I was probably 14 when I came out as bisexual. My mom actually found out through my MySpace, and she kind of just looked at me and was like, so who's this girl? And I was like, oh, that's my girlfriend. And she kind of just left it alone after that. Told me that she always accepted me, but feeling accepted is different than saying accepted. After that, it was an emotional battle, and I kind of just started running away from home. My mom put me in a program called GINS, and that's like a court system program where you are supervised by a probation officer and stuff. I eventually got put in juvie and group homes and independent livings and stuff like that. I was away from my family for a long time, for short periods of times, long periods of times, different cities, hardly talked to them. Sometimes they never came to see me. I want to say I was probably around 18, 19 when I came out as a lesbian, around there, and then a couple years after that, when I was about 20, I came out as transgender, and here recently started my process. And I want to say that the hardest thing with starting the process is thinking that starting hormones is going to fix the things that you think are wrong with you. And then you notice the things you think are going to get better with testosterone make you more insecure sometimes. And it's been a rough battle, but being with friends who love and support you and accept you is what's key. And that's my story.
Hi, I'm Caroline. I'm 24 years old. I'm from Virginia Beach, and this is my story. I just recently came out, probably about a month or two ago, to my mom first. I was standing in her bedroom, and I had plans with my current girlfriend, and I told her, hey Mom, can I borrow your car? I have a date. I wanted to know, if I could just use your car. And so she tells me, what's the guy's name? Do I know him? Who is he? I'm like, well, you don't necessarily know who this person is. And she's like, okay, well, what's his name? I'm like, well, he's kind of a she. She's like, okay, well, what's her name? I'm like, oh my gosh, Mom, like, you caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting you to really, be okay with it, because, I don't know, just when I was little, my parents, they were kind of weird about it. It was mostly my dad, but other than that, my mom's she's very, very accepting and very supportive of me and my daughter and my decisions in life. And, let's see, when I really realized, I was coming to hang out with my best friend Andrew, and I was with my ex at the time, and I walk into the room, and I see this amazing person that's sitting next to me, and I'm just like, holy crap. Why am I feeling this way? I've never felt this way about another female before. It's kind of strange. Fast forward, obviously she's my girlfriend to this day. She's amazing to me, and I really couldn't ask for a better person. And I have a lot of people that support me. Everybody that's important to me supports me, and anybody that matters does. So that's pretty much my story. Awkward and full of weirdness.
The coming out stories are done at Virginia Beach from Andrew, Dalton, Caroline, Abby, and Aaron. We're on to the next one, which is Philadelphia. So, we are GAYish!